Hey guys, before we dive into this episode of another Anso recap, I just wanted to let you know that this episode is also sponsored by Anso of Denmark. And now have fun listening to all the stuff that happened between November 2025 and March 2026 and all the amazing stuff that Jens is coming up with. Have fun. Moin moin and a dear welcome to another episode of Tim's Sprachnachrichten, or for you English-speaking people out there, Tim's voicemails. And today, after around 4 months, I have again a very, very special guest to me on the show. Hello Jens, welcome back.
Thank you so much. I'm pleased to be here.
Oh yeah, I'm happy to have you on the show again. I love talking about all the stuff that's happening in your shop and all the magic around Jens Anso, right? So last time we did a shop update, and that's what we're gonna do today as well, right? We are just talking about all the stuff that happened between November of 2025 and now we are having March 2026. And let's dive into all the processes and changes that happened at your shop, because if I look at it correctly, there happened a lot again, right?
Yes, and it's actually quite interesting for me to realize how fast things move in the shop. So 4 months, while it might sound like a substantial amount of time, when you're in production, 4 months is nothing. Just because of production planning, product development, and all of that. So while we haven't come out with anything new in this past 4 months, we're really working fast to make things happen. So one thing that is quite noteworthy, and it's obviously not something that's happened in the last 4 months, but 2026 marks my 25th year anniversary as a professional knife maker.
Oh wow,
and
congratulations.
designer. Thank you. And that is something that we are working on right now. So while we haven't made any announcements about it just yet, yours will be the first place that I'm actually mentioning
what an
it. And we haven't planned it out just yet either. You know, I like to keep things somewhat organized, but also leave a lot of room for improvisation and having fun. So the 25th year anniversary will be marked officially by us having a open house in the shop and factory space in our showroom with invited guests. We did the same thing with the Toko launch 2 years ago, I guess.
I can recall.
A year and a half ago. It was
around that area,
November of 24. So back then we invited a bunch of friends of the house, and but also any knife enthusiast in driving or flying distance. So we actually had people drive up from both Germany and Holland and of course Denmark, and just had a lot of fun here. So I had a small knife show, we had tours in the shop, I had a little seminar in knife sharpening and fun stuff like that. So the anniversary will be marked officially with an open house with a very broad invite to people from all over the world, but of course driving distance makes it easier. But also we are working on the first product that will be celebrating the 25 years, and it will be a mix between new products and but also reviving old models, old products, to celebrate this weird thing. 25 years, that's a lot of time.
Yeah,
And
that's a quarter
and I know,
of 100 years, right?
yeah. So to me, it feels strange because this is just what I do. But having done anything for 25 years, that is substantial, and it makes me feel just a little bit old. But
And
it's
experienced, I hope.
oh yeah, for sure. So so doing this, my main objective is having a lot of fun with it, and it allows me to bring out some old custom models for a guest return for this event, but also throughout the year I will do some different stuff. I haven't planned everything out yet, but I can say that the the carabiner will make a reappearance. I discontinued the
Oh,
V3 carabiner 2 years ago, and that will reappear, possibly the V2 as well, but that's undecided. But that will come out in a 25-year Jubilee version very
oh
soon.
wow. I feel
Maybe
like
depending
the
on, yes, go ahead, sorry.
I feel like the Carabiner is also a fan favorite. It feels like.
It is, and it is pretty foundational for the modern version of my company, if you will. I
Mhm,
I there's a very strict line in the sand, at least for me, that is 2010, which was when I bought my first CNC machine.
mhm.
And back then it was really controversial to have a CNC machine as a custom knife maker.
Oh
It,
yeah,
it's definitely not so anymore, but back then it was very controversial, and only a handful of
crazy.
makers around the world had access
Mm,
to a CNC machine. I knew five of them personally, and maybe knew of a few more. But other than that, it wasn't all that common. Now, one of the questions that I get asked from aspiring knife makers is, what CNC machine should I buy? Should I buy to become a knife maker? So times has changed a lot.
oh
But in
yeah.
2010, I bought the first CNC machine, and
Mhm.
being a completely newbie to CNC machine, I had absolutely no formal education as a machinist or CNC machinist, so I was just self-taught. So I spent a lot of time learning how to use this, but quite fast into it, I realized, okay, I bought the machine with the intention of making a product with higher precision. So a lot of this shouldn't be a talk about CNC machines at all, but I think that there's a lot of thought that CNC machines are mainly used to produce in high numbers, and I don't believe that. As a craftsman, I use a CNC machine to do intricate stuff, even in
Yeah,
a one-off custom. But
yeah,
what it does is it allows me to do things that normally wouldn't be possible with manual machines, or at least not in a traditional way
yeah,
possible
exactly.
with
Yeah.
old school machines. Anyway, if I could
Yeah,
make just,
I just want to check in on that real quick because as a
yeah,
carpenter, CNC machining has become a huge part of manufacturing furniture, right?
yeah,
Even if it's just a one of a kind furniture, you still have these intricate, just like you said, if it's a knife or furniture, it doesn't really matter, right? Because the CNC will put the effort in to such a high degree of precision that you can't achieve just by hand, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
why not use the CNC to increase the product quality by a huge amount, right? And that's
yeah.
the basically the benefit of CNC machining.
One of them at least.
Yeah, yeah,
Of course, it's also possible to just spit out thousands of the
of course.
same
Yeah,
product, but
sure.
that's not really why I'm interested in. Anyways, I got that first machine, started using it more or less as a glorified bandsaw. I was just cutting out profiles in steel and titanium, but it was still saving my body from extended work sitting crunched in front of a bandsaw, and that was one of the reasons
Mm,
why I got into CNC machining, just from a sustainable point of view, that I'm in this for the long run. I don't see myself ever retiring. So, and being a knife maker is hard work. It's hard on your body. So that was one of the aspects of me buying one. If I could make just one more knife a month, that would pay for that first machine. But then soon I realized I couldn't really fill out the capacity of the machine by just
mhm.
making knives, not back then. So that's where I just came up with and designed the first carabiner.
Ah, okay.
And for whatever reason, timing being a huge um, factor, of course, the carabiners that I was producing just turned out to be a massive success.
Mm.
And that funded the second machine, because I at some point I couldn't really justify making knife parts
Mm.
because the carabiners were just selling like crazy.
Oh,
And
that's great.
and that allowed me to buy CNC machine number two, and now I have four. And the past 2 years we have only been able to make knife parts, and that was the main reason the carabiner was discontinued, was because we introduced the shop built line with knives
Mm.
being built
Okay,
by my
I
team.
see.
But our capacity, even with four machines, has just been stretched so thin that I had to discontinue anything but knives. But we are in a
Mm.
point now where I'm actually reintroducing the possibility of us doing more than just knives. And one of the
Mm.
reasons why we're able to do that is that we discontinued our most popular model, the Aros. And the Aros is like a love-hate child of mine, because it's one of my absolutely biggest successes in knife making ever. At
Yeah.
least if you judge from a point of items sold. We've made so many RS folders. I believe when I discontinue it we reached 1,200 made RS, or
Wow. And that
something to
is
that
in a
effect.
span of over like 2 years, two and a
2 years,
half years.
yeah,
Yeah.
2 years. And that was the first shop built folder, and just
Yeah.
going from being a strict custom shop to being a semi-custom or semi-production, however you want to describe the shop build, actually achieving building 600 knives a year was
Man, that's insane.
that was insane.
Yeah.
The big problem with the Aros was really my ambition and my level of ambition, because I designed it so complicated that it was a very time consuming knife to produce, and it was taking up all our production capacities, but I priced it too low. And
Okay.
And I priced it with the idea that we would be able to produce X amount of knives a week or a month or a year, whatever. And we just never reached that goal. It wasn't
Oh,
possible.
okay. Yeah.
My expectations to our capacity was just greatly exaggerated.
Mhm.
So it actually reached a point where we spent 2 years almost ruining the business because of the
Oh,
hours.
wow.
And that has to be the most frustrating moment for me in my whole career. I have this massive success, but I'm not
Yeah.
making money on it. So I had to really do the really, really hard thing, and that was to kill a success. Because if there's one thing that I've have known my entire career is that you can always you can always raise your prices, but you can never lower your prices. But um, the hours was just priced at such a point where if we should raise the prices enough, it would be a very different product,
Mm.
and it that alone would probably kill the success by itself. So I just made the hard decision, just discontinuing it. And now I'm working on a new version of the hours. We also learned a ton over the past 2 years, so there's also some aspects that I wanted to change about the design. But
Mm.
but one of them is definitely that it was too time consuming to produce, so it wasn't possible for us to actually make it fast enough. So that was a long ramble about going from one thing to another.
So,
Um,
just a quick question: the if you are talking about revamping the Aros, is it like that you keep the core of the design alive, or will you just totally rearrange stuff?
no, I think that the core of the design will stay, though
Hmm.
I can't really say for sure because I haven't reached that point yet of right now it's basically just ideas in my head what I want to change and what I should
Hmm.
work on, and how can we make this how can we make this folder and actually make a profit.
Yeah.
uh, and is that even something that I want? Because the way that I set up my company is that I'm doing this to feed my passion.
Hmm. Yeah.
I created the shop build line with the intention of creating really, really high end semi production knives
Hmm.
that was priced lower than my customs, but something we were able to produce in higher numbers to satisfy more people. But
Yeah.
but my main goal is to make intricate details, cool machining, just go absolutely nuts on just all the little details. And all the little details cost a lot of money to produce.
Mm.
Um, so will the design remain interesting to me if I change and divert from all those details? Probably not. And then I would rather make something completely new. But I'm working on it.
So wherever creativity leads you, right?
100%.
Yeah.
There's so many ways that's easier to make money than knife making. So I'm doing this because it's my passion, and I have absolutely no plan on being competitive with anyone on price point,
Mm.
because that's always that if we look outside of the knife world, but just manufacturing in general, it's always a matter of saving just a little bit here and there to be have the most competing price, and it's always a race to the bottom, and I don't
Hmm.
want to take part of that.
Yeah.
If you're competing on price, quality or detail or materials has to suffer. That's a given, and I'm not
Yeah.
interested in that. I'm interested in making a superior product, and then
Mm.
it has to cost whatever it costs, and then the our customers will decide if this will be a success or not. But I
Yeah.
will not go into a competition for people's money by lowering pricing or lowering quality, or lowering pricing by lowering quality. I'm not interested in that.
Yeah. Relatable.
If anything, I want to make higher quality than we did yesterday. So
Yeah. Always strive to be better than the version of yesterday, right?
exactly.
Yeah. So, how are you going forward on the last launch 15, which was like in February 15th, right?
Hmm.
You on your Instagram page, you posted all the knives you were dropping on that day, and you also said in the caption of the post of the reel that you are discontinuing the casino as well, right?
Yes, and it's a strange thing to discontinue knives and knives that you love. One of the reasons to discontinue the casino was that I just like the Monte Carlo better.
Oh yeah, okay.
So it that was one of the reasons. The other reason was that um, the programs we were using was programs that I did 5 years ago, and we're just doing things in a very different way now than I did back then.
Hmm.
And so I had to decide, is this really a project that I want to go forward with, or would I rather do something new? And I have a tendency to get bored quite easy
Hmm.
with, and I don't want to feel stuck in something that I found interesting 5, 10 years ago. So the main reason why I discontinue models is so I can focus on new projects.
Yeah.
Um, so
Out with
there's
the old,
that.
in with the new, right?
Yeah, but I also like to revisit old models. So I've
Hmm.
done that quite a bit in the past, and then I will discontinue those versions in favor of potentially point 3 versions down the line. Who knows? But I just like to come up with something new, and while it's not something that I really spend any time considering, actually discontinuing a model will also make it potentially a little more interesting for the secondary market, because you know that you can't get it from me anymore. Well, then if you want it, then potentially you have to pay a premium to get it. I've always, or at least for a good number of years, been quite accessible because my output is quite big, and
Yeah.
that means that it's not necessarily a it doesn't necessarily have a potential to grow the prices on the secondary market. And I actually have no interest in that either. Of course, if you buy something and it's for as an investment, you want to at least get your monies back. But actually discontinuing a model, at least well, there's approximately 250 casinos out in the wild, so there's a chance you can get one, but maybe that actually means that people will stop selling them
Oh yeah.
because they know they can't get a new one. If they know that, well, I need to buy new tires for my car, I'll sell this because I know that I can just order a new one down the line. Maybe maybe the choice is different.
Yeah. So 25 years of Anso of Denmark. And with that, also, yeah, it's a huge milestone for yourself, right? But like you said, you are looking forward onto the next 25 years. So
Yeah,
how do you keep
100%.
yeah, how will you celebrate besides the knife show, so to say, at your own shop?
Um, I have some ideas just to show people and having fun with some different projects. One
Mhm.
thing that I can reveal is that I'm having a poster made with all my custom designs,
Oh, awesome.
which last time I counted was something like 75.
Oh, wow.
75 folders that I have to some extent made as custom knives or knives out of the shop. And this doesn't count fixed blades. This doesn't count production designs at all. This is strictly knives that I've made with my hands over the years. Something like 75 models or more.
Wow. 75. That's a huge number, right?
I thought
That's
it could be fun to see that in
yeah.
a big poster. Um, will I celebrate it any other way other than, well, I'm definitely thinking about having a anniversary coin made. That is something that is high on the list. And of course, it's always a bad idea to mention something that you're not 100% sure of, but I can go as far as say that there's at least one custom model that was discontinued a number of years ago that will have a reappearance. Um,
Ooh.
I don't think it's wise for me to mention the model because then I have to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe I change my mind in a
Yeah, I
week.
mean between 75 models, that's an ocean of models, right? And
Yeah, it
there's
is.
certainly a few of them which could make a reappearance. So for
Yeah,
everyone listening, keep your eyes peeled.
yeah.
There might be something
Um,
coming up.
Another thing that it's not really because of the 25 years, but also because I absolutely love going out there to shows and meeting people,
Mhm.
is that I'm actually turning up the dial for knife shows this year and doing more than usual. And it will actually be my first knife show in Germany. I will attend the knife show in Solingen in May.
Oh wow, awesome. I will be there as well, of course. So
Yeah,
that's
excellent.
a chance to finally meet in person, right? Awesome. That's exciting.
So I'm doing the Solingen show in May, the Atlanta
Mhm.
Blade show in June, the Have a Knives Day in
And
Holland in
knives and tools, right?
September.
Yeah.
Yeah, Knife and Tools, and a French show in September as well. And I'm actually planning to go to Taiwan in December for a knife show there as well. So
Oh,
a bunch of traveling this year, which is a
yeah.
bit more than usual.
But also a chance for all your fans out there to meet you, right?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Um, and a chance for me, I would like to say, equally important for me to meet my fans and customers.
Oh, yeah.
That is my number one main reason to go to these shows. That is to actually get to talk with people,
Mm.
um, and show them my knives in person. So I get to see the reaction to what I spend all my time doing. So having a business that is 100% international, really,
Mm.
we ship everything that we make. It's only at knife shows that I actually get to see people's reaction to what I spend so much time doing.
But that's also the fun part about it, right? I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
as a fan attending a knife show like the Knife in Solingen, Have a Knives Day Fest, or our German Daily Carry Convention in Munich, I feel like
Hmm.
it's also a chance to get into contact with all those inspiring knife making designers and artists, right? And that's the spirit and the idea behind knife shows for me. I'm not going to them because I want to buy stuff. I'm going to them because I want to get together with people. If it's a designer or just someone you know f- from the scene, right? It's just like a huge reason to meet up. And that's the beauty of knife shows for me.
Hmm. Having been in this business for so long, I also realized that a good number of my closest friends are people I only get to see when I
Mm.
travel to knife shows because um, this is such an amazing community, and I've been able to
Yeah.
make a lot of very, very close friends through this industry. But it's 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 somewhat strange to have really, really good friends, but you might only see them once a year if you're
Mm.
lucky.
Yeah, I
But
can relate.
that's that's just part of it.
Yeah. So, what's coming up? Do you have anything that we can um, maybe spy on that you are pretty certain will happen in the next like 3 to 4 months?
Hmm. 3 to 4 months, meaning that will fit the Solingen and Blade show, and I'm hoping, I can't really say for sure, but I am working on a small fixed blade, and I am
Hmm.
working on a Linolog folder. Both should be in the shop built line,
Oh, awesome.
and if it's realistic to get these out over the next 3 to 4 months, not 100% sure about that, but I am quite certain that we, if nothing else, will have prototypes ready in time for at least the Blade Show in Atlanta for both of them. I'm quite certain about that, but I'm actually also striving to have both prototypes ready for the Solingen show, which is only a month prior
Oh, yeah.
to the Blade Show in Atlanta.
Well, that
So
would be
I'm really
awesome.
striving to have the prototypes ready for Solingen.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons for me to push that is, of course, the opportunity to show prototypes, to get reactions, to get these into the hands of people.
Oh,
And
yeah, I
it
can
is,
recall. last year Have a Knives Day Fest. I think there we met, right? And then you handed me the prototypes of the Anso pen. Yeah,
Yeah,
I can
yeah, that's
recall.
true.
And
Yeah,
then
that's true.
yeah, that was also fun, right? Because it gave you, as a customer, you get the basic idea and well, what the basic idea, the idea of the product you get in hand, and you can feel what the
Hmm.
product is meant to be,
Yeah,
right? And so you can
yeah,
directly understand it and
yeah,
get a connection to it, and that's a huge benefit, right?
yeah. So I'm 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 very opinionated about what and how I make my products. So of course I listen to people and I listen to people's reactions, but mainly I just get a huge joy out of showing the latest.
Mm,
Um, so you, in different industry, you might get a focus group to judge a design, and then the company will change this and that and this from response
yeah.
from that focus group, and I'm definitely not one to do that.
Hmm.
I also understand that what I make doesn't suit everybody, and I'm perfectly fine with that as well.
Yeah.
Um, I have this opinion that I would rather that you have an opinion that is this is definitely not my taste
Hmm.
than having the reaction that yeah, that's boring.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
w- I would
Exactly.
rather I would rather have people have a strong reaction, good or
Yeah.
bad, than having a
Yeah.
meh
100%.
reaction. So
Yeah. Definitely. I feel like um, when you, as a customer, it feels you get so much more of how do you, relation. You build so much more intense relation with a product that you can 100% connect with than just holding the product or the knife in hand and be like, oh yeah, okay, that's all right, and put it
mhm,
into your collection, right? If there's
yeah,
something like the Toko for me is a top example for that. Last year, November, I carried the Toko for the whole month of November, right? And during that, I really built up a connection and a relation with the knife. And in a few days, it became my favorite knife in the collection. And it didn't change since then, right? Because everything matches my taste and my expectation in a good knife 100%. And that's like the the Anso spirit for me. I feel like there are few people saying, oh no, Anso isn't for me. But the ones who say Anso is for me are like 100% connected with it. So that's the
mm,
beauty of it. Yeah.
yeah, and that was the reaction that I'm hoping for, of course.
Yeah.
But it also, to me, it also is an indication of and a validation of the work that I put into a design, because when I do knife design, I am very much focused on the use of the tool. And yes, everything I do is tools. I have
Mm.
absolutely no interest in current fads, or I pay very little attention to what's popular right now. It doesn't really make sense to me, because for me, good design is timeless. So if
Yeah.
if you follow a trend and you designed, and I then okay, let's rough up some feathers here
Okay, let's go.
with both knife designers and knife users out there, and just a small disclaimer before I say anything. Taste is individual, and I'm not
Yeah.
mocking anybody's taste here. Taste is and design is something that is judged individually.
100% it
That
is.
said,
Yeah.
you will 100% never see me design a cleaver folder.
Hmm.
I guess that's a trend that's on the downfall right now. You don't see many new designs coming out with the cleaver blade, but there was a huge trend going
Oh
on,
yeah,
say in the last
can recall.
2 or 3 or 5 years, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was approached several times by production companies. Oh, we need a cleaver folder. Jens, could you please design one for us? And my response was very straightforward. Absolutely not, because I think the whole idea is very silly. Because
Yeah,
then you're designing something with the purpose of following a trend. That's A. And B, you're not really overly focused on the user experience or on using this tool. You're
mm,
focused on a look, and I don't buy into that. So I actually forget how this started out, but for me, designing something to have a value now, but also have a value in 25 years or 50 years or 100 years is super important. And I believe that is one way you can judge if a design is good or bad. That's how
yeah,
well it will stand the time spent.
yeah, definitely. I also feel like if the overall design isn't too too exciting, it's also already a good indicator for me personally to be a
Yes,
knife.
to a certain extent, and I
Yeah.
understand 100% what you mean. But there's a very, very keen difference between simple design and boring design,
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
or
100%.
uninteresting design. To
Yeah,
me,
definitely.
to me, it's very, very delicate and a very
Mm,
tight balance if a design is plain, boring,
yeah.
or super interesting. And Danish design in general, I'm not definitely not talking about how I design solely, but if you look at Danish design over the past 75 years or so, one of the key elements of that is simplicity. But
Yeah, exactly.
simplicity with a very distinct level of detail. So,
Yeah.
so if you can create something very simple with as few lines as possible, but then go in and add something of interest,
Yeah.
that is what will
Maybe
set everything apart.
yeah, maybe my choice of words wasn't quite right?
No,
So,
I don't know,
I feel
but
like a design can be very genuine and exciting in a really clean and yeah, low head, so to say,
yeah,
appearance, right?
yeah,
So there can be an exciting micro milling on it, but the overall shape isn't too roughed up, right? There's nothing really
yeah, yeah,
going
yeah.
on what doesn't need to go on, right? So that's
Exactly,
always
exactly.
a good indicator for me to have a design or a knife or a product that will be something to pass on, right?
I think when we're talking knife design, a very, very good example is the Chris Reeve Sebenza.
Yeah,
That
100%,
that
definitely.
is simplicity at its best, but it's definitely not boring. And it's a
Yeah,
design that with very minor updates to the appearance, but more so for the way it has been produced, has more or less been the same for the past 30 years, or how old that design is. But it's as relevant today as it was when it came out.
Yeah,
And to
definitely.
me, that is a
At the same
huge
time.
achievement.
Oh yeah. I feel like, from my perspective, as a customer, not a designer, it's like one of the best achievements you can achieve, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And something that I strive to achieve myself every day with my work. That is the longevity of time, really. I
Yeah,
think that
definitely.
I think I've come close a few times. I will let everybody else but myself be the judge of that. But I think I have achieved a few designs over time that has some kind of longevity in its design,
Mhm.
and some of them more so than others, and others definitely not. Some of them were very much a reaction to the way that I was designing right then and there.
Mhm.
If you take a look when my design poster comes out, um, each design will be marked with the year that it was designed.
Oh, cool.
And there was there was a certain period of time between 2007 to 2009 or 10
Mhm.
that was every knife that I designed was looking just a little bit like an animal, especially birds, with absolutely no intention from me for
Oh,
that to
okay.
happen. But
Yeah.
the combination of me using the Spyderco hole in just about every design that I made, combined with very, very curvy line, it had a very natural, organic feel to it. And those are definitely some of the knives that I don't necessarily think aged that well. But some of
Okay.
them still have some panache, if you will. The haddock was designed in right around that period of time. I forget exactly what year. It might be 2008. And I still think that today it's just as relevant as it was back then.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, but
I mean,
some of
just
the other
looking at the head
designs.
arc, right? Now you designed it like close to 19, 18 years ago,
Mhm.
and there are still people hugely interested in the design, right? And that's
Yeah, yeah.
a very good indicator for a timeless design, right? After around 20
Yeah,
years
I
later.
think so. After all, it came out as the advent calendar for Boker in 24
Oh
as a
yeah.
very
Oh yeah.
and I think it was the first design that Boker and myself worked on. So
Oh
we
yeah.
so just with Boker alone, it has a long history.
Yeah. So maybe we can round up this episode right now
Yeah.
and just take to round it all up. 25 years anniversary. Again, congratulations on that. That's something not everybody will achieve or can achieve, right? And then you are hosting a personal knife show for this anniversary at your shop,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Uh, for people who are interested, or yeah, you will send out invitations, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so
But it will also be an open invitation. So
okay.
I don't know everybody for sure. And of course, we will have a limited amount of space. But if you already follow me on one of my channels, the newsletter is definitely an important one. I will send out notification well in advance, but also
Yeah.
Instagram, on the website, Facebook. But I can reveal the date right now if I just check my calendar. It will be October 3rd.
October 3rd. That's
Yeah,
a good date. Yeah.
I
So
think so.
anniversary knife show at your shop, October 3rd, 2026. And
Yeah,
then the carabiner will make a reappearance, right? In a special,
yeah.
if I got you right, in a special edition for that anniversary, right? And
That won't be specifically for that event, but so it will come out. We decided that 2026 will be one big celebration, so it will come out quite soon, actually. So
awesome. So keep your eyes peeled on that for everyone interested. Then one of your previous discontinued custom models will make a reappearance. Which one?
yeah,
Keep your eyes peeled again. So there's a lot to look out for. You are visiting knife shows all over the year, or you will be visiting knife shows all over the year. Have 2 prototypes, one folder, liner lock, and one fixed blade with you. So that's also something you can look out for. I mean, if that's not something people can keep their eyes peeled on the stuff you are making and doing, I don't know what will. So yeah, I'm really interested. I'm already excited following you on that journey. I hope you will meet in Solingen, or I know we will meet in Solingen. And Jens, thank you so much for being on the show again. It's always so much fun talking to you and discuss over so many different things, right? If it's knife designing, CNC machining, whatever, it's always fun and joy.
yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure to talk about all of this.
Thank you so much. And for everyone listening, and also for you, Jens, have a good day, night, and always have the fortune to and be grateful for what you are doing. And don't keep your head hanging too low for too long. Have a good day. Have a good night. Bye bye.